Side with Elborn. You're not energetically determined to support Elborn and bring nobles and Arcanians under the rule of imperial law. You realize the risks, but for the future of the empire and its subjects, you are willing to face them. You seal the promise with a handshake. The prefect leans back in his big chair and points at the glasses full of wine. I never doubted you, Brante. With your potential and your full zeal, nothing will stop us. And now, a toast to the triumph of law in Magra. The glasses clink melodically. The prefect takes a sip, then puts the glass down to instruct you further. Remember to be cautious. Between the powerful nobles and many other judges at the prefecture, there will be no shortage of enemies on this path. There will be times when I will be unable to help you. My own position is too unstable as it is, so please do not draw too much of their ire. Letting their wrath reach you is the last thing I want. Last but not least, we mustn't be hasty. If we move too fast and enforce the law against the nobles too soon, they might take up their swords as they have before. We have to prevent an uprising and avert bloodshed. At all times be just, but also wise and alert. I'm glad to see you on the side of justice. I'm counting on you, and you can count on me in return, Michael Brante. May light be with you in service to the Empire. You return to your office. Your desk covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing has changed, but now you realize the great and important cause working quietly behind your daily grind. Deep in thought, you sit at the desk once again. What fate awaits you in service to this cause? +3. Night is falling over Nizoti. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day's work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you have known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are acting of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play, the remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. Engrossed in your memories, at first you fail to notice that you are not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of the Legion officer approaches you. You see under light brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It is Thomas. Now that's a surprise! Hi, Brante! Fancy running into the mule the moment I'm back in town! Childhood friend puts his arms around you. Our battalion got its word here recently. We are under the command of the Mag Legion now. I'm keeping that peace and maintaining order in my very own province, yay! Well, why don't you catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat, remember the old days. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion rather than their usual mischievous sparkle. I should warn you, though, Michael. I am the best company nowadays. I've managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could tell you a good name, so you'd rather not be seen with me? Well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. Because exactly, we cannot walk away. So, have dinner with Thomas. You give Thomas your hand, you shake hands firmly. So I haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante. That's the way that be. Well, come on then. Got it, thoroughly. Reminiscent about your childhood antics. On these very streets along the way, you choose a table in the far corner. of the tavern. Thomas orders a bowl of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anisotia. You share family news, he gets to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds you've had some tough times. Your family has always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa's always in his workshop and my ma's always doing chores. But look at me, I came home a service class nobleman. Although it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas suddenly grinned. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm a captain in Magnum Legion now. And who's our commander? His Excellency Darius Utton. That's right, I surrounded that very same Magnin whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things gonna end really bad. But hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose honor in petty towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of damn barracks. Michael, yeah. I thought about starting a family. My mom keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She said it's high time I got hitched. It's completely dark and you are still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of the nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your home neighborhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago. Bye, Brante. I had never come to Anisotti these days. Albert Alien is always as much all over the province. But Vince William, we'll see each other again real soon. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life. Oh, will power a lot of. First year at the prefecture has come to an end. You are not a young student anymore. You know now that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying out. Resolving litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year is beginning and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you. Carriage takes you through the silver district of Anisotti. It is early morning, and you have just received a letter bearing the seal of the city hall. Ramil Verman, the magistrate of Magar himself, wishes to see you at once. The mere sight of the magistrate invitation is enough to make you scowl. There is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. A provincial legislature, the lesser quorum governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra. After a new law created by the emperor's own brother Cornelius Tempest several years ago, commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation in the quorum on par with the nobility, thus forming the lesser quorum. Now the representatives of the lowly estates have founded a newspaper on their own, and this Quorum Gazette, distributed all across Anisotti, fervently argues for commoners' rights in provincial governance. The man behind the newspaper is Mayor Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines, and it was his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Ulfa II, we receive the lawful right to assemble and sit in the lesser quorum. And we say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard. Our message must be accepted. Carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the city hall where imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anizoti. You are escorted up a long, winding staircase to the door of the magistrate's office. You now stand before Remy L. Verman. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his venerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. Oh, yes, Sir Judge. You are from the Brante family, I believe. I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed. You're judge in the case against that newspaper but it has a quorum. Are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from the most vulnerable members of the quorum. They say my Egmont has insulted Gaius Tempest, our overseer, and an Archnian from the Emperor's own great dynasty. And I say, they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realize that this is an affront to the honor of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge and immediately find a pretext for shutting down the pathetic gazette. Alborne, your prefect, might think otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I'm certain you will realize which position is more beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it'll do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict, then closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. Return to the prefecture lost in thought. Shirley Vermans is right. Your word is all it will take to shut the lesser quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not ever need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however. Mayor Edmond's article simply requested that the overseer of Magra hear what the lesser quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaints and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice, but Sir Verman and many fellow judges will be outraged. However, learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice. You're in quite a predicament now, son. If you try to appease one party, the other will be furious. Wouldn't you rather see if there are any way to make peace between them? We could host a party at our estate and invite both Egmont and the noble elders from the quorum. If you are successful at diffusing their quarrel, no one would object it if you decide to legitimize the Quorum Gazette. Even El Verman won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining. Thorolf is not the only visitor of note that day. Shortly after the door closes behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo fucking Grabin appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. I hear you've been ordered to deal with that newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close with Prefect Alborn, are you not? Almost related as if though. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize their printing press? All it would take is your prefect's signature. And my friend among the quorum nobles, why, they could use a gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you. Put that printing press in good hands. Just think of it. You would shut down a subversive periodical and help our esteemed nobles spread their message, all while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves and you are left alone in your office to deliberate. If you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about? Then we have four options. You just shut down the Gazette, you ban the lesser quorum's Gazette. Do not show down the Gazette. You rule the Gazette has a legal right to exist and reject the nobles' numerous complaints. We may try legitimize the Gazette. You host a party, help Mont and the quorum nobles make peace. This allows you to legitimize the quorum Gazette. And we can seize the printing press. With the prefect's help, you seize the printing press used for the Gazette and give it to the quorum nobility. So, what will you choose?